Greetings, students. In this video, we are going to take a look at your case study on behavior assignment and how to complete that. So you're going to be in your module for psychology, history, and research methods. And you should work through each one of these pages as you want to begin this study. So when you're going through the course, you're going through each page, you're making sure you complete the content. Some of the information that you'll use for this assignment will be here. You're going to be using early thinkers and different perspectives. So I'm going through. When I get to page 3, and here are my perspectives, I'm going to use these, and I will also be using my e-text for this assignment. The instructions, get to the bottom of the page, and it's going to tell you the case study on behavior. The various psychological perspectives will be reiterated many times throughout the course. Mastering a base understanding of their differences is essential for comprehending the complexity of psychology as a discipline. This assignment will provide you an opportunity to theoretically diagnose a child and rationalize, according to the various perspectives, how she's come to this point in her life. So we're going to go over here and we're going to click on the assignment, and that's going to bring up a instruction page. So I'm going to read this and then just give you a couple tips and points to think about when you're constructing the assignment. So please read the following excerpt. Think about the root causes of Sally's behavior and possible repercussions for Sally's future. You're going to provide a possible explanation of her behavior based on 5, that's important, 5 of the 7 main psychological perspectives. We only touched the surface of these perspectives, and we will discover more about each of them over the course of the class. However, mastering a basic understanding is essential. Sally was the second out of 3 children of loving, busy parents. When she was growing up, she thought of her parents favored her siblings. When Sally was 4, her parents divorced, and she and her younger sister remained with her mother. Her older brother moved with her father to a distant city. When Sally and her sister visited her father on school vacations, he gave them lots of presents but did not have much time to spend with them. He would hire babysitters to take them to amusement parks or movies. Her brother was a teenager by then, and though he paid attention to Sally, he was often off with his friends. As Sally grew older and attended school, she had trouble focusing, and when she was taken to a doctor for appraisal of her abilities and disabilities, Sally's medical evaluation showed symptoms of ADHD. But Sally's mom thought she could show more self-control and work up to her ability. Because of these difficulties in school, Sally had trouble making friends and was excluded from playgroups by her classmates. Their reactions diminished her self-confidence. By the time Sally was an adolescent, she had difficulty forming lasting relationships, despite her expertise in athletics, being a star on the soccer team. She was capable of high academic achievement, but her grades were below average. Teacher reports frequently cited her excessive need for attention and disruptive behavior in class. She and mom did not know how to break out of this cycle. So again, for this assignment, I would create a PowerPoint presentation. You're going to be looking at 5 perspectives: the biological, the psychodynamic, the behavioral, the humanistic, and the cognitive. So you'll need a minimum of 6 slides. An introduction slide, we'll say 7 slides actually. Title slide, 1 for each perspective, and you're also going to cite sources using APA guidelines. So on each slide, and if you want to add more, if you want to have an introduction slide for each perspective, behavioral, and then go into 1 through 2, 3, 4, 5, you could do that as well. But for each slide or perspective, you will provide the following. Number 1, a brief explanation of the psychological perspective that you chose to start with. So you could say biological, psychodynamic, behavioral, humanistic, or cognitive. Number 2, what is the basic cause of Sally's problems based on this perspective? 3, what will happen to Sally according to this perspective if she does not receive help? 4, what can be done to help Sally improve her life according to the perspective? And 5, you're going to choose a visual that enhances the content of that slide, which would be enhancing the content of the perspective. I'm going to use as an example the psychodynamic perspective and just give you a very vague example of how to do this. So say I'm going to use a psychodynamic perspective, and I will go to perhaps my course module. This is a great chart. I can go to the psychodynamic or psychoanalytic perspective. I'm going to read about that. I can also read about it in my e-text. And I may say that I'm going to give a little synopsis of that perspective. Now, again, we're not cutting and pasting, so don't ever do that. But you could read here and then read in your e-text and then come up with your own little blurb about the psychodynamic perspective. The second thing that we're going to do is, what is the basic cause of Sally's problems based on the perspective? The psychodynamic perspective believes that the root of psychological problems or disorders are stemmed from things that happened in the past or underlying issues that are in our unconscious that we don't know about. So if we wanted to talk about Sally, one example of explaining this would be to say that things that happened in her childhood with her parents, and you could give specifics from the blurb, caused her to have these problems today. Number 3, what will happen to Sally according to this perspective if she does not receive help? So according to the psychodynamic perspective, what are some characteristics of psychological problems that she may have? She may develop nail biting. She may be untrustful of making new friends, things like that. 4, what can be done to help Sally improve her life according to the perspective? Here you're going to have to look. Each one of these perspectives is going to have some type of treatment associated with it. And the psychodynamic is Freudian. So you would look at Freudian treatment options to do number 4. And then include a visual that enhances the slide. This visual could enhance the psychodynamic perspective, or you could find a visual that shows Sally or your version of Sally and her going through something. So you'll do that for each one of those 5 perspectives. And when you're finished, you will include one more slide that has your APA citations. So if you have any additional questions on this assignment, please let me know.